I'd like to call our meeting back to order. Mr. Greenway, would you please read us out of closed?
Yes, thank you. I move that Roanoke County School Board come out of closed session for the following: to discuss the investigation of a student matter pursuant to the Scholastic Record Exemption at 2.2-3711A2 of the Code of Virginia, and to certify that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under this chapter, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the school board.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Dr. White?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. London?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Greenway?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens?
Yes, ma'am. Item 2.03, action from closed.
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that student number EX 2025-2026, number 10, be expelled from Roanoke County Public Schools.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Dr. White?
Abstain.
Mr. London?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to allow students RE 2025 through 2026, 23 through 29 to be released from compulsory attendance pursuant to 22.1-254-B.1 of the Code of Virginia, 1950 as amended.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Dr. White,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Linden,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome, everyone. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4.01, announcement of changes in the agenda. We do not have any. Item 4.02, approval of agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Dr. White,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Linden,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am. Item 5.01, recognition of Glenver High School 2026 VMEA Senior Honors Choir, Nick Fraticelli and Miss Shannon Norman. Oh, okay.
We've just been informed he's running a little behind, so
Okay.
we wondered if we could do
We
the
could flip
Glenver
them. That's
Elementary
fine.
first. He's in the parking lot. I think there was a wrong turn at some point,
Okay.
so, but he will be here shortly.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, we'll move to item 5.02, School Spotlight, Glenver Elementary School, Miss Christy Stanley. Yay!
So I promise I did not know they were coming. I did not pay them. They are not getting any special treatment. But if I'm being honest, I would almost not even have to do this now because this is what I came to talk about and about the culture we're building, the positivity, the kindness that everybody feels as they come in our building. And this is what we are like daily. So I will still do my presentation though. Thank y'all very much. All right, so Glenver Elementary School. Good things are happening at Glenver Elementary School thanks to these guys. We were built in 1959. We have done some expansion and some renovations, and the building is still holding up pretty well, and we're pretty proud of it. We are the Grizzlies. So this year we wanted to focus on STEM, and STEM was going to get us to our deeper learning and our more engaged activities. The way we're doing that is we started a STEM lab this year in our building that we did not have, and I felt like that was important to have. We also got a 3D printer, the Lego Spike kits. We are doing a solar car race. We will not be in the county one, but we are doing it afterwards. We're doing a full race day, a whole theme, where we're going to have these guys race tricycles along with the solar cars. So we also have design briefs, lessons with our ITRT, and we're making sure that our teachers have the PD opportunities to use all these things we're bringing into the building. So here is where our kindergartners started with the 3D printing. This was in the beginning of the school year, and they were doing letter recognition along with their curriculum, and so they got on the iPads with their teachers and a lot of help, and they started typing out their names. And then they got to see it, they got to review things and correct and edit even at that age, and then they were able to put them through the printer and see how they came out. I do have a couple to show you that they did. This is what they came out looking like. They have little hooks. Cute. And they have their name that's on them, and so they can put these on their book bags. So all of our kindergartners and first graders have done that. The first graders were very excited about it, and they're going to go a little further next month. And with the book, The Mitten, they are going to draw out with doodles. We have these doodle pads. They're going to draw out the animals they want in their mittens, and then they each get to create one of their animals to put in an actual mitten and carry around. So we're very excited about our STEM and 3D printing. Second grade did a really cool math coding with the 3D printer. It included symmetrical shapes, it included even numbers, it was coding, it was reviewing and editing. They got to plan this. This is Holly Ireland, our ITRT, who is fabulous, wanted to be here but couldn't. She is leading the lesson and teaching them how to code things. That is what they will see. Those are two pictures of what they are seeing on their machine that they get to then edit and they get to review. They made 3 of them and they picked one to print. The top is what it looks like going in. The one they print, we put on that piece of paper like that. It goes in and the bottom is what it comes out. And I actually have one of theirs too to show you how they made their snowflakes, which I thought were really, really cool because it gets very detailed. And they are very proud of that. So one other thing we're embracing along with STEM is that we want to think of our, not just what we're doing, but what we are. And we are scientists, and we are exploring, and we are investigating, and we are doing things that make us go, wow. I like to always talk to the students at lunch, and we would talk about like the incredible facts that, you know, that's in science, and how wonderful science is and how it just blows your mind. We call them mind-blowing moments. But here we show some of our scientists from Miss B's class. And we have a whole bulletin board. I couldn't put everybody's picture because not everybody could be photographed. But of them, they are in lab coats. They are dressed like the scientists. They are embracing their role as a scientist. They're using, at the top, they were using copper circuits, tape, to put onto a picture that they made that, no, there has to be some element that would light up. So they got to be creative and think about how to do it. They collaborated sometimes with each other about how to do things. And they created these pictures that then had a light up feature through copper tape circuits. The bottom, they're learning about force and motion, and they went into the gym with PE class, and they did bowling. They did bowling activities. It wasn't your typical bowling like you're keeping score, but they had different mats, as you can see, that had different edges and different levels of friction to see how that would slow the ball down and what the force, how the way the ball hit the pins and the way they would move. So you got friction and force and direction and motion all in that they got to see for themselves. And you can see those who aren't actually doing it are sitting on the floor with their notes, and they're taking notes about what they see, because this increases how they learn. They will remember that so much more, and our teachers are buying into that, and they believe that. A couple more scientists. We have some sound pan flutes talking about pitch and frequency. We have the light reflection they did, where they're using how light rays move and how they're straight, but how they can bounce and reflect off of things to hit targets. That's the one thing you can't see. They actually have a target they have to hit, and so they have to use the different angles of the mirror to hit the target. So our Discover program is something I'm also very proud of. That's formerly the Gifted program, and our gifted teacher, Kim Filer, is a fantastic teacher. She leads them through so many activities. This one was particularly impressive. They were doing a stream sampling where they went out and dug up invertebrates and other materials out in a stream in a wooded area behind our school, brought it in, and by looking at the resources they picked up and the materials they picked up, decided what the health of that stream was. Then they simulated things at the bottom. They simulated streams that would be more beneficial to these invertebrates and these animals that they found. It was very deeper learning. It was very critical thinking, and it was just amazing, and they loved it. They could not stop talking about it. One of the areas I am extremely proud of also, not that it's just a few, but our facts class is amazing. Our teacher, Ms. Crawley, is amazing. These kids are learning. They're having fun. There is an inclusivity that I have never seen anywhere else with these kids. We have at the bottom down here, and by the way, facts, because I always forget exactly what that means. For our fact class, it is functional, academic, accessibility, career, and transition skills, and that's what they focus on. So down here at the right corner, they're learning how to grow gardens, and they actually grew peppers for us last year. We were picking them up. We had little tomatoes growing all summer. We were very thankful for that, so thanks, Rebecca. We have Lincoln, who's so excited because he's making butter. Rowan's using her adaptable device down here to run the mixer. And Luke is so excited because he's doing a cloud experiment with the food coloring to simulate the rain. Like I said, we really push the inclusion with our facts classes, and the kids in the whole school embrace that, and they love being part of things, to the point that we don't just send our fact students into the general education classrooms. We bring their peers into the classroom with them. And this is their Friendsgiving, where the kids got to make their lists. They got to put a menu together. They went to Kroger as a field trip. They shopped for everything. They brought it back. I will say they cooked. You know, some of the choices might have been Cheetos, but whatever. But they got to do all that together, and they invited each two peers to come in from their grade and from their class, and they had a huge party. We were in there with them dancing. It was fun. The kids were having so much fun. They loved it, and it was just something. They're building relationships that cannot be beat. So, like I said when I first started, the thing that everything works in the school like that is because of the culture that is being built there now, and these guys, and how wonderful they are and how positive they are. Like I said, I didn't even know they were coming there, and it's amazing to me, but it's not shocking that they showed up like they did. And that's the way they treat each other, and that's the way they treat their students in the building. And it's just, you can walk into our building and it's a wonderful feel. It's a happy environment, it's a kind environment. We started out this year trying to build that community and that family by asking Mr. Hudson to come and be our guest chef. And he came for a cookout and cooked like 100 burgers for us all day. And it was wonderful. And we appreciated that. We have a wonderful SRO and our guidance counselor, the wonderful Sarah Williams there. Those are our parents in the bottom. They're just happy to be there when they can and help out. So, and that is one of our fact students with his buddy Lennox. Lennox is in the general education population. Lincoln's there, and they're having lunch together. So it is a wonderful place to be. PBIS is something that, if you ever see our Facebook, is something that we're really pushing. We have a school-wide goal to go to the hockey game as the school. The Rail Yard Dogs does an educational day hockey game, and we're going to that if we fill our jar, which we will. And they come in, and the thing is, and as you can see, I don't even have to tell you, they're excited and they're buying into it because you can see on their faces. I love the girl in the back with the hands up. I mean, that's how they were. They're so excited. They'll walk up to me and say, Miss Stanley, I got 2 marbles today. We got to put them in our jar. Miss Stanley, they said, if we do this, we'll get another marble. They're loving it. They're buying into it. And it's creating a very positive environment for them that they are in control of. And the last thing, they're laughing. The last thing, just in case you don't believe how our relationships are building so strongly and how the bond we have, these are my little fabulous 5th graders that saw Disney on Ice with the Toy Story in it. So if you know anything about Toy Story, when Andy comes around, the toys have to go inanimate because they're not supposed to be alive. So they decided my name sounded a little like Andy. The first time this happened, I had Miss Newcomb with me. We were walking down the hall, and she was like, what is going on? And I was like, oh, it's embarrassing. But this is what they did. They yell out, Miss Stanley's coming, and they hit the ground. And it doesn't matter where. I could come in to pop into their room to say good morning. They do that. They lean again everywhere. They're still doing it, by the way. But just so you know, I did get them back a little bit. It was last week, I think. Yes. Last week, I saw them coming first. So I said, 5th grade's coming, and I hit the ground. Took me a little bit longer to get up. My hip might be a little bruised, but we're not going to talk about that. And in case you don't believe just all the pictures, I'm going to let you hear from them. I've got about a little 2-minute snapshot of some students. And just so you know how to set this up, that we set up a microphone and an iPad, and we said, if you want to say something positive about Glenver and your experience at Glenver, you're welcome to. That's it. We didn't say what to say. We didn't say you had to. Like I said, it's about 2 minutes. It could have been about 20. I had to cut it down. We are going to make a movie of all 20 minutes of it and share it with the kids together one day. But I wanted you to see this.
I went to my first cheer game at Glenver. I helped someone study for a test and they got an A. I transferred here to Glenver. It's really nice. We had so many STEM experiments. People being really nice to me on the first day of school.
One good thing that has happened to me at Glenver Elementary is I have gotten a really nice class who are kind.
I like Glenver because the cafeteria is nice. My favorite thing about this school year is when we got to pour the marbles into the marble jar.
And when I came here, I didn't expect anything more, but I got a lot in return.
I got a letter saying I could get into AMP.
Something good that's happened at Glenver this year is we got a 3D printer, and our kids absolutely love being able to code to make things that are then printed on the 3D printer.
I got straight A's, and I also won the push-up challenge with 36.
I like to make ice cream with science.
I got a home run in kickball.
I'm proud of my iExcel growth.
One thing that I really love about this school year at Glenver is that my students are so kind to each other and to me.
I'm glad that the school brought back SCA and I could be part of it. I'm glad that I met new friends and a new principal, Miss Stanley. I've been paying more attention in class. One good thing that happened this year is me playing with Daxon outside and having a lot of fun. Something happened really good to me. I made new friends. It was a miracle to me.
We're cousins, and we teach at Glenver Elementary together. It's a family affair. And we love all the staff, and we love all the students, but secretly, we love being together.
This school is so beyond expectations. It's really clean, and everyone's good here.
I love all the Glenver colors. There's no other Encore teachers like the Encore teachers at Glenver. We love Glenver!
So cute. So. I would like to take credit for it, but it's them. And thank y'all very much for letting me have this moment to come up here and talk about why I'm so proud of the Glenver community and my school.
Thank you for coming.
Miss Stanley, you've done an awesome job. You took over, a couple years ago, and you have fostered such a loving environment there for the students, and obviously the staff love you, and I'm just proud of everything that you've accomplished in the staff. Thank you guys. You guys work miracles every single day, and it never goes unnoticed. You're what makes Glenver special. Thank you.
I think they want us to take pictures.
Glenver Elementary, stand on up. Go back a few minutes. All right, here we go.
Thank you. You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I think.
So did they come in? Because I wasn't.
That's pretty cool.
Man,
That was one of the best presentations we've had.
Yeah, up here tearing up at the end.
I know, so cute. They're so cute. Well, and I loved all the stuff that she's doing with STEM. I mean, that's huge. That she's doing it school wide. It's not just, Yeah, very cool. Is our person here? Okay. All right. So Lord, you better keep those germs over there. All right. So we're going to go back to item 5.01, recognition of Glenver High School 2026 VMEA Senior Honors Choir, Nick Fraticelli, Miss Shannon Norman.
All right. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the school board, Dr. Nicely, and Dr. Soltis. Tonight, I'm pleased to recognize Nick Fraticelli, a 12th grade student at Glenver High School, for his outstanding musical achievements. Nick has been a member of the Glenver High School Choir for 2 years, and in 2025 was selected for the VMEA Honor Choir. He was one of just 138 students selected from more than 700 who auditioned. In addition to this incredible honor, he has also been selected for the District 6 Choir both in 25 and 26, and the All-State Choir in 25. In addition to choir, Nick is an accomplished alto saxophonist, earning 3rd chair in the District Symphonic Band this year and receiving district chair placements from 23 through 26. He's also been selected for the Virginia Tech Honor Band in 24, 25, and 26. His musical background includes 10 years with the Roanoke Valley Children's Choir, 4 years of alto saxophone study, 10 years of piano lessons, and service as an accompanist for choirs at both Glenver High School and the Roanoke Valley Children's Choir. Nick's success reflects the strength of our music programs, and I would like to thank Sarah Smith, his director, Nick Alford, the band director at Glenver, and Nick's family for their continued support and dedication. Nick, we are so proud of the way you represent Glenver High School and Roanoke County Public Schools. Congratulations on your achievements, and thank you for sharing your talents with our community.
I see he didn't bring his saxophone, so I guess he's going to sing for us?
Item 6.01, report by Student Advisory Council Representative, Mr. Bear Tyree.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Nicely, Dr. Soltis, and members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to share an update from the SAC meeting held on January 7th, 2026. The council welcomed Nancy Hands, the Executive Director of the Partnership for Community Wellness, who discussed upcoming Wait Until Grade 8 community meetings aimed at raising awareness about the impact of cell phones and social media on elementary and middle school students. Students discussed the long-term effects of early smartphone use and the role older students can play as positive role models. SAC members were encouraged to attend and support these community meetings. The council also welcomed Jamie Estrada, the supervisor of nutrition, who provided an overview of the school nutrition program. The group provided feedback on school nutrition at the middle school and high school level. Mr. Estrada shared plans to increase fresh and locally sourced items when possible, and continue improving meal quality within federal guidelines. Ms. Estrada is also excited to work with our group more closely to gain student insight on the nutrition program. She even mentioned using the SAC for future taste testing and sampling of the products. The council engaged in a structured discussion regarding the potential amendment to the SAC bylaws related to attendance expectations. Members explored several possible approaches, including tiered warnings, communication requirements, recognition of extracurricular conflicts, and leadership discretion. No vote was taken, but a motion was approved to table the discussion and distribute a student survey to gather broader feedback. Student representatives shared updates from their schools, including Hidden Valley High School's DECA competition preparation and implementation of monthly club days, Cave Spring High School's winter sports updates, and planning for a mental health awareness basketball game. William Byrd discussed the elementary school marching band outreach and continued recognition of community service efforts. Northside High School's athletic updates and discussions around opportunity-ready student portfolios. Glenver High School's planning for a human trafficking awareness initiative in the coming months. The middle school shared updates that included spirit weeks, disability awareness events, community service projects, and academic workload feedback. At next month's meeting, the council will welcome Ben Williams, the Director of Assessment and Research, and Susan Peterson, the Director of Finance. Thank you for your continued support of the student leadership and student voice in Roanoke County Public Schools.
Thank you. Item 7.01, hearing of citizens for agenda topics. We do not have any. Item 8, consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Dr. White?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. London?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Greenway?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens?
Yes, ma'am. Item 9.01, request for approval to construct a softball field at William Byrd Middle School. Mr. Todd Kegels. I don't know what was wrong with me.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Nicely, Dr. Soltis. If you will recall, back in November, Chuck, can we get the other graphic? Back in November, the school board approved funding for the architecture and engineering services for a potential softball field to be constructed in the open field behind William Byrd Middle School. That would be that open space to the south, planned south of the current softball field right there. A survey has been conducted, and Chuck, if we could get the other survey graphic, please. Thank you. A survey has been conducted and the initial layout plans have been received. The full grading plans and construction documents are expected to be completed in the next 2 to 3 weeks. The initial layout documents have confirmed that a softball field constructed to the recommended NFHS dimensions will fit in the available space. If the board wishes to proceed with construction of the softball field at William Byrd Middle School, staff recommends appropriation of $250,000 from minor capital special projects to cover the cost of construction.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the softball field?
I make a motion to approve the softball field at William Byrd Middle School.
I'll second.
Discussion?
A few questions maybe for Mr. Kegels. Do you think the $250,000 is sufficient to make sure that everything that needs to be done gets done?
I do.
And the final documents are due in when?
They were originally promised around the end of January, so we're saying 2 to 3 weeks, but hopefully in the next week or so. And just to go back to your previous question, we feel like that budget is a pretty safe budget, that we ought to be able to actually come in underneath that.
And the approximate cost to maintain a softball field, 200-foot softball field each year?
In terms of what operations pays for, which is only mowing, it's about $2,000. The rest of the maintenance costs are typically borne by the schools.
I don't have any other questions. I could probably get behind this if the timing were a little bit better. Asking Dr. White to vote on a motion that he hasn't been briefed on without the final documentation on the engineering plans, it just being added to the agenda yesterday. It obviously can't be ready for this season. That would be nice if we could get all that information, look at it as a group at next month's work session, I think, but having an accurate final cost, a very accurate final cost, I could probably get behind it. But without that information, without all the engineering and everything else, I don't know that spending $250,000, hoping that it comes in at that, is a good use of taxpayer dollars at the moment. So I'm not going to support this.
Well, let's talk about the positive. Mr. Greenway, why don't you speak about the positive of having a field on your grounds?
Sure. So currently we have softball facilities for the varsity. They cover the varsity, the JV, and the middle school. And so our kids have to leave campus. They have to take a bus to haul the equipment to the Good Park, and the kids walk down there. Same thing with baseball. At some point, I may not be here, but I hope somebody gets it on campus where it's a little closer. We don't live in the times that we had 25, 30 years ago. A deranged person comes down there, they're just kind of out there outside the campus, and we've got the space. Many of our high school facilities and middle school facilities now have dual purpose, have a softball field at the high school, have a softball field at the middle school, and maybe most of them except for Glenver, maybe.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that we're in the same situation, and I'd actually asked Todd to take a look at that a couple years ago, but the cost was quite a bit more than $250 because of the land layout and what would have to be done. So it's something that I would love to get done at some point for the same reasons you're speaking of. I actually coached baseball at Glenver Middle, and for numerous reasons, it was very hard to have. You have to wait on a bus to come back and pick your kids up to take you to Green Hill Park, which you end up being last to the field when you're technically the home team. Again, the safety aspect of nobody's out there, it's kind of different when you're not on school grounds. So I agree with you with that piece.
And this is nothing new. Mr. Linden, bucks a lot of things we do in the Benton district. I hope Bonsack folks are listening to this. I hope the Benton people are listening to this. He does this quite often, so it's nothing really new. We didn't have cost for the football field that we put in over at Northside before we did it. We didn't have cost for the lights that we put over at Northside before we did it. We didn't have cost for a lot of the projects we've done over there. And I support them because our students deserve the best that we can provide, and they deserve the facilities to be equitable. I don't say equal, but equitable around the county, and that's what we're trying to do. This field won't be quite as long as the official, I guess, varsity softball
No,
field.
it'll be a full
Will it be
200
full?
foot
Okay, so we were able to get
NFHS
it in.
field.
Okay, so but you know, it gives us practice facilities. We get to stay on campus. But again, Mr. Linden, nothing new. I hope Bonsack residents are listening to this. You know, this has been on the table for 5-6 months. We've talked about maybe 8 or 10 months, and we've already done the engineering for it. This is nothing. I mean, this is, you know, he makes it like it's out of the blue. I mean, it's such a joke, but nonetheless, we're used to it.
As I said, I could get behind it if
we don't
the
need
entire
you behind
board
it.
had
How
been
about that?
briefed on it, and
So we're
we
good.
discussed
Thank
it at next month's work session.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
A couple things I would just mention, unless are you still?
Yeah, no, you go ahead.
So Mr. Kegels and I talked about this a little bit today. The one thing that I had asked was, do we think there's going to be any real changes between now and this final version that you do get? And it doesn't sound like you think there would be any major changes between what we have here. And then also the other thing to point out, which I've learned a lot about these fields over the last couple of years, is that his property is pretty flat. So you don't expect a lot of grading, which we know is a pretty expensive part of this. So I think that's why you were kind of saying that you don't anticipate that the costs would go over and may even come under.
And we have a ton of dirt.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So I mean,
And to
maybe you
Mr.
can explain that better
Greenway's-
than I can. But
To Mr. Greenway's point, because we have been talking about this for I think over a year now. We did, when we first were asked about it, we did initial work and got quotes on fencing, the grading, and everything else we thought we were going to need. And then we based the budget on that. So we didn't just, pull it out of the air. We based that on some information.
well, I wasn't accusing you.
No, I know. All of it is now expired and will have to be
inference was
redone.
made by Mr. Linden, so
Yeah, it'll all have to be redone to get, super accurate pricing now, but
you
it's
feel confident
I'm confident it's going to be less than what we've asked for a budget.
And I would agree with Mr. Greenway that I feel like we have talked about this a lot ad nauseum, I would say. So I feel like this is something that's been discussed over a period of time. And it was something that we discussed the last go around with our funding. And we discussed that there were a lot of things on that list that were maybe a higher priority at that time. And that we would come back around to this when we got new funding. And that was my word that I gave, and I will stick by that. So
thank you.
If I can just chime in, I certainly appreciate the acknowledgement that I'm the new person on the block walking into a vote on something that I haven't been involved in, so I do appreciate that. And for me, I think the unfortunate timing is just that we have ongoing conversation in the broader community about how we're spending money in general. And I think on my part, it makes me a little uncomfortable to acknowledge this when I'm just learning about the budget and figuring out where we can make savings in the future. So I will likely be abstaining from voting, but I know that's not going to impact. So I appreciate it.
thank you. Does any more discussion? Madam Clerk?
Dr. White,
Abstain?
Mr. Linden,
No, ma'am.
Mr. Greenway,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Item 10, information, we do not have any. Item 11.01, hearing of citizens for non-agenda topics, we do not have any. Item 12.01, report by Roanoke County School Superintendent, Dr. Nicely.
You have one of those.
We do.
Good evening, members of the board. Just want to give a shout out again to Ms. Stanley, the group there at Glenver Elementary School. One thing that stood out to me in her presentation was just her own love for learning. I love the way she talks about students not just learning about science, but seeing themselves as scientists, not just learning about grammar and vocabulary, but seeing themselves as authors and writers, or musicians. And I think that's the heart of what we mean when we talk about deeper learning in Roanoke County Public Schools. Her own personal love for learning, as you can see, is contagious. So we really appreciate her leadership. Again, coming to Glenver Elementary School, and obviously the teachers there and the students have a really good time and a good experience, and appreciate being there. Also want to begin this evening by again congratulating all of our music educators in Roanoke County and the talented students who participate in our music programs at all levels. We're from a high school student this evening. They all put so much time into their craft, and whether they perform in groups or individually, they just really continue to amaze. This evening at the Berglund Center, our annual Student Registered Apprenticeship Showcase is being held, featuring over 20 businesses from across the region who are willing to employ high school students in apprenticeships for which students earn high school credit, get valuable experience, and get paid. It's a great program. I appreciate and thank our CTE team for the amazing work they do in coordinating these opportunities for our students and leading the way in the state. Last week was Principal Appreciation Week, and as I've said many times, I know we have the best team of school administrators of any school division in Virginia. No doubt in my mind about that. The role of the principal, the assistant principals, is often a difficult job. It's a thankless job sometimes, but their work is so important, and they make a difference for students every day. Want to give a shout out to Senora Amy Bolin, Spanish teacher at Cave Spring, for inviting me to her Spanish 4 and AP Spanish classes these last couple days, and actually trusting me to enough to do a little teaching. Admittingly, my Spanish felt a little rusty, but the students played along and hopefully learned something new. It was a great experience, and I'm always amazed at our students in all of our schools and their enthusiasm for learning. I'm also grateful for all of our teachers from preschool to high school, their care for students, and their inspiration for learning. Also want to thank Nancy Hands, Emily Harrison, Dr. Hughes, Mr. Lineberger for their dedication to leading our ongoing series of community meetings for parents about the very real dangers of social media and smartphone use among kids. In the last 2 weeks, they led meetings at Bonsack, Herman L. Horn, and Glenver Middle, and the next ones are coming up at Clearbrook tomorrow evening, Burlington on Monday, Mount Pleasant next Thursday, and Green Valley on February 3rd. The complete listing is on the Roanoke County Public School website, and that's really been a concerted effort, an amazing dedication of time on their part to attend these meetings. I think it's really making a difference to get the word out and take time to get around to each of the schools, including the elementary schools, to take that message. Speaking of next week, we are very mindful of the winter storm warning that's been announced for this weekend and the expected impact on road conditions heading into next week. I want to take the opportunity to thank our maintenance and transportation teams under Todd Kegels, Jeff Meacham, Jerry Hubbard, Kathy King for all their hard work in responding to weather situations and advising us on when we can safely open schools. With major weather events, and Mr. Lineberger sent out a message to parents earlier this evening, when we're expecting these major weather events, we do try to plan ahead and have alerted parents, students, and teachers that if we're out of school more than 3 days, which is a possibility, we are prepared to announce a virtual learning day if needed on day 4. We don't like to pull that trigger very often, but if we anticipate multiple days, that's something that we put into the mix. So we're hoping that's not going to be the case, but we are prepared to do that if necessary. I want to thank our teachers and principals for all the hard work they put into making that happen for that eventuality. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and don't let him fool you because he speaks fluently. when we go to the Spanish classrooms and he speaks with the and I took like 4 or 5 years of Spanish and I don't remember any of it, and he that's true, and he goes in and he's having full conversation, so he's misleading you on that. So all right, item 13.01, reports and inquiries of board members. Dr. White, would you start us off?
Yeah, thank you. And I guess this being my first meeting, I want to say a few words just to share my gratitude and appreciation for being here. And oftentimes I think through everything I say and write it down and then forget half of it. So some of it I will read so I don't forget what I want to say here. But so thank you to my fellow board members, to Dr. Nicely, Dr. Soltis, Eddie, and all of the division directors and staff that have helped orient me to being part of the team. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to serve on this board alongside y'all. And I also want to make sure to thank my family and friends who have supported me this past year through the unfortunately political process for a non-political position. One of those things I never thought I would get involved in politics. And to the community who came out and voted, your voice absolutely matters. And to all the community that continues to come out to school boards and participate and share your concerns and visions for our school, your voice absolutely matters. Please keep doing that. I hope as we work together on the board in the future, we continue to foster meaningful community engagement and apply some thoughtful consideration to public input, and to take some time to digest public comments and how it may influence decisions. But as was alluded to briefly earlier, first kind of months in this role is jumping right into all the financial reports. And Susan Peterson does a great job to provide us with a very thick book. It's about 300 pages of finance and data and numbers and charts, things that I normally don't have to stare at as a physician, but here we are. I've taken some time to digest some of it. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and I appreciate Dr. Nicely pointing out during our first work session that despite what all the numbers are what they look like there, we do have tools like the Sea Change framework to help us align our budget to what our values are in the institutional purpose. So I hope to be able to apply that to understand the numbers better. Above everything else, I'm truly grateful to be here, and thank you all. I'm honored to begin this work.
Thank you. Mr. Linden?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to welcome Dr. White. Congratulations on your victory back in November. We've obviously seen you on the other side of the podium numerous times, but look forward to getting to know you and working with you over the next 4 years. So, what a great presentation by Glenver Elementary School. Obviously, it's easy to see why they call that Highlander heaven out there. She was just so contagious and so upbeat. It was a great presentation. So, had a chance to visit the CTE Center last week with some folks from Carillion, and just very excited about how far along that has come. I hadn't been up there in over 3 months, and that is something that this community is going to be extremely proud of. So excited about what 2026 holds. We've got W.E. Cundiff and Glen Cove Elementary Schools getting ready to open, and then by the end of the year, open up the Roanoke County Career and Technology Center. So 2026 should be a great year. But hope everybody enjoys the snow this weekend and be safe.
Thank you. Mr. Greenway?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I too would like to welcome Dr. White. Look forward to speaking with you and interacting with you on the board. And unlike you, I don't write things down. I usually go from the hip, and that, you'll figure out how that gets me in trouble. But we had a lot of things going on over the last month or so. I don't guess we've been together for like 6 or 8 weeks. It's been a while, not 8, but about 6 or 7 weeks. It's been a long time since the 1st of December for a meeting. We had the cell phone policy meeting at Herman L. Horn the other night. We had about 28 or 30 families, which was well attended. Maybe one of the better ones at the elementary level, and so I was pleased with that. And again, people seem to be engaged, listening. I hope they share it with the friends that weren't there. I've got grandkids that are there, and not one of the parents were there, so I'm giving my group a little bit of grief for not showing up. And I sent them text messages, and they get the subtle hints that only parents can give that they should have been there. And it was just a really good, Miss Hands and her group does such a nice job with that, and such a poignant message, and hope many families listen to that. Also, Dr. Nicely is helping with some plaque work on some teacher appreciation areas that we're going to be putting in at the Vinton District Schools. And Mr. Linden, you'll be glad to know this isn't going to cost us $1. It's coming out of funds that were donated to the school through Vinton Moose Lodge, and a family, Jack and Carolyn Mills, gave us some money. So each one of those are paid for, and it's my way of and the school's way of showing appreciation for our teachers and our staff and everyone that services our kids at these schools and what they mean to our communities. It's amazing. These folks are absolutely God's gift to us in many ways. And so, and when you hear the stories, and like a lot of us do on the board, that the principals and the teachers and the staff and the custodians and the nutrition specialist and everyone go through in a day, it's quite amazing. And these people, this isn't much, but it's just a nice little token to show them our appreciation. Maybe they can go out and have lunch, and when it's nice outside, and so forth. And again, Dr. Nicely is going to provide a little memorial for the plaques and wording, I guess, for the plaques, and it will hopefully be received in the manner that it's meant. That we thank you. Then to the fun stuff, where I'm the bad cop, and I'm going to try and cut this down because I've been asked to cut it down from the request from the other side and from my fellow members. But I'd ask you to go read my Facebook post. I mean every word of it, and it just is the way it is. But I'll speak to what comments were made by Mr. Mahoney on shared services. We had this discussion a couple years ago. He and I went and ate at pizza place. I can't think of the name, over next to Buffalo Wild Wings. Anyway, we had a luncheon, and we talked about shared services and had some really good discussion about it. I asked him about it on a walkthrough through Cundiff not 6 or 8 months ago, and apparently he couldn't get any traction for the idea of doing this with the shared services with his other fellow board members. So he said, I've just dropped it. Then to come back to our meeting, or their meeting the other day, and then they started talking about it. You can't make this up. You don't know, are they interested in shared service? Are they not interested in shared service? Where are we at? Because we can save our taxpayers a lot of money in some of these places. Now, I will not give up on our attorney. I'm just being honest. Our attorney is second to none and is in private industry as well as public industry. And we need somebody that can absolutely pull us out of ditches and can get us on the road, that we need to be on when situations arise. And we've got special ed services that we need, and there's just a lot of services that our attorney provides. That is non-negotiable for me, and I'm only one vote. Transportation, there's probably some opportunities there to share some services that we could cut down on expenses. There's HR maybe a little bit. We don't want to give up on our Jim Bradshaw and that group. I don't mean it like that, but I mean, there are some things we could probably do fruition-wise that save us some money, and there's some other things that we can do. So anytime they want to have that, they can't have joint meetings for whatever reason, but if they could ever have a joint meeting, maybe we could discuss some of those services and talk about some of that. Yesterday there was a meeting with chair, and it was going to be the chairs from the school board and the board of supervisors. And the only thing I'll say about that, and I appreciate, I knew that well in advance. It's not anything there, but one of the board members on the other side has to trust that one of those other 4 board members can speak to revenue sharing or to these issues. He needs to give them guidance and maybe give them some homework or whatever, so that they can speak, and he doesn't have to be the spokesperson for everything they do. Let them speak. Let them have a voice as well, and let's have dialogue in both boards getting together. No, you may not like what somebody has to say that knows what's going on, but nonetheless, that's what makes our democracy wonderful, is that we all have an opportunity to speak, and that we also have an opportunity to discuss these issues which are important to us. Quit hiding behind the chair, vice chair meetings. Let's meet. You may not hear something you want to hear. Phil, I'm talking directly to you right here. But I'm just saying, let's have joint meetings. Let the press come. Let the public come. Who cares? It's transparency, and they should have an opportunity to witness us sitting down across from each other, having discussions. That's the bottom line on that. The actual versus estimated revenue, we're not going to make any ground on that. That's a couple $1 million a year that we don't get of actual revenue. I do believe that's something that should come to the schools. Maybe it's another percent that we could give in raises. I get that, you know, and let me say this, after tonight, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Everybody can be nice and say all the nice things and do all that, and I'm going to let it go, and this is going to be it for me. But, you know, it's a couple $1 million that we don't get, you know, from the actual versus estimated revenue each year. And couple that with the real estate tax. Maybe we're lowering the rate, but we're raising the tax revenue every year on that side, the county side. We do need to continue to fund the schools. I fight for that every day and talk about it every day. But you know, continuing to, you know, we're no different than the tax and spend politicians we fuss about. That's what we're doing. Is we're increasing the size of government, increasing the size of revenue, and spending it. And that's a hypocrisy on our side. And let me say this: last couple, I'm really into it, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to say any more after tonight. I promise you, I'll let y'all do whatever we're going to do. I'm going to let it go. But you know, spending, we had to fight tooth and nail to get two elementary schools, right? We had to really fight to get those two elementary schools done. At the end of the day, they gave us the funding. Now we're going to put an extra $10 million in a library that few people use. You know, I'm not saying we need libraries, but do we need 5 of them in the county? You know, we've got 5 of them in the high schools. There's another shared service possibly. You can't do it during school hours. But anyway, you know, if we're going to talk about money that's not spent in the best public interest, I feel like that's one of them. And our SROs, when you put on that sheet of $5 million or whatever, we can rebut that $5 million that you spend on the schools. But when you talk about our SROs, again, non-negotiable. Now, we had to start it. We had to pay for it. You made that clear. And then Governor Youngkin gave a grant for the SROs, and all of a sudden, it was great to put these SROs in schools. They are non-negotiable. They are amazing people, and what they're providing for our schools and the safety for our children, it to me is a non-negotiable for us. Again, only one vote, but a non-negotiable for me. So with that, I'd love to have a much better relationship. I hope we do in the future. I hope we get an opportunity to speak. If we would act like adults and come together and have joint meetings every couple years, you know, I think the last one we had was Christmas 2 or 3 years ago. But if we would have joint meetings and have the opportunity to speak to each other instead of hiding, you know, we would be able to have these discussions in person. And I'll say this in person to you. I don't have any problems with doing that. So, but anyway, I'm happy to have those discussions. Sorry for the rant, but the truth is the truth. And, you know, I'm that person that tries to stand up and say what I feel, and that's what I feel. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hudson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome, Dr. White. It's nice to see you here in your first meeting, and I look forward to working with you. You mentioned something, politics, and that is the ugly side of the job. It's ugly when you run for a campaign, and you'll find out it's ugly when you're sitting up here and having to deal with it on the other end. I hate that word. I've come to really hate it, but unfortunately, that is what it is. You know, and getting on that, Mr. Greenway touched on some things, and you know, it's been mentioned about the revenue sharing, and there was a formula that was created in 2014 that was basically designed to adequately fund our schools without us having to go beg for money each year. You know, it's easy to see that some of our neighbors, just in the news here recently, have had some real money issues, and you know, we do get to keep the money that we have at the end of the year in surplus and use that towards goals that we have to complete certain projects. And I would hate to see that go. I think that would put a real hurting on our ability to not only educate our kids, but do some of the things like softball fields and some of the other projects. You know, a few years ago, we did bicker back and forth and fight in regards to the two elementary schools, but ultimately, we all agreed that we could do it. And they agreed to $130 million of the projects. And not everybody understands how everything works in the public, but obviously it's bond service, it's debt service that we have to pay. We pay some money on that as well as them. So I think that their goal is the same as ours. Sometimes when you have the same goal, you don't agree to the same path to reach that goal. However, I do feel like after doing some research that they do fund us well compared to other counties from what I've had many conversations with different folks. And I appreciate their efforts. I appreciate what they do. No, we're not always going to agree on things. But the meeting yesterday that Mr. Greenway spoke about to me was a very positive meeting. And as a matter of fact, probably the most positive meeting we had in a couple years. And it's my desire, and I think others on this board, to have a good working relationship, because at the end of the day, the reason why I got into this, and I'm sure everybody else sitting up here got into this, is simply to serve the kids and to do what's best for our children. And if we're going to be fighting back and forth nonstop, I don't think anything positive is going to come from that. And who ultimately suffers when we do this is the children and our community. It's hard to work problems out when people aren't willing to talk or people are at odds with each other. So, from me, I just want to thank them publicly and say, we appreciate everything you've done for us over the last few years. It does not go unnoticed that we have these brand new buildings that are, or one brand new building that's pretty awesome, by the way, out on Peters Creek. If you haven't seen it, right out, take a look at it. I believe that's $80 million right at it. And then the rest of that money of the 130 is going to the remodeling of both of elementary school in Mr. Greenway's district as well as mine. And these are direct impacts for the kids. And I think that I'm glad we were able to get that accomplished. That's gonna benefit students, for decades to come. We're not always going to get along, but my desire is for us to at least be cordial with one another, respect one another. They do have a lot of things they have to look at, like public safety, and tax rates and all. And that is not in my wheelhouse, so I will never comment on all those things. That's above my head, and I just do not have an interest in doing any research on that. Maybe as a citizen when I get my tax bill, but the more money they tax, I mean, obviously, the more money we have to pay. But then again, when it goes through that formula, the more money we get here in the schools. But I hope that yesterday's meeting is an olive branch from both sides in order to kind of nix this fighting back and forth, and to respect one another and be able to work together to foster a positive relationship that's going to benefit our kids and our community. So with that being said, I publicly thank them for everything that they've done so far. And I hope that, what Mr. Mahoney speaking about the services, and also I know possibly taking that money at the end of the year, that would put us in a bad situation. So I hope that he would reconsider his thoughts on that. But I think we can work together and alleviate that. We do all share services, and I think that that's a good thing. It's how it should be. They should serve us. We should serve them. Anything that the county needs, I know from my perspective, if they need to use our buildings or whatever it is, then historically, I believe we've always done that. I don't think that it should be a tit for tat, that we write down how much this costs and that costs. I think that if we dig down in the weeds on that, we're again at odds with each other. So I would rather it just be a good, positive working relationship. So I want to congratulate our football team. I don't know if I said this the last go around. It's been so long. It's been a couple months, like Mr. Greenwood said, it's been about 6 weeks. But they made it all the way to the state championship game, and unfortunately they lost. And on the surface, I thought, well, somebody's got to lose, but they did really well. But then at the end of the game, I went out there and shook every player's hand, and they were in tears. And to see these big 200+ pound linebackers and linemen, all these boys, and I actually heard. Gentleman, his last name is Hartman. He played his butt off, and he said he won basically every award that he could possibly win for his position, but he would give them all up for a state title ring. So it goes to show you that Coach Clifford's doing a great job out there. He's not promoting it's all about you, it's about the team, because that man literally said that he would give up everything that he had accomplished himself for the team to have won that day. So that meant a lot to me, and I think that sports on the surface, people think, well, what does that have to do with education? Well, it has a lot to do with it, right? To see that dedication and the things that we're teaching in life skills is invaluable. So some of the fields, like the softball field and these other things that we spend money on, sometimes I think folks do question, why are you spending so much money on that? Well, it's a big part of education. So I want to congratulate Mr. Francelli, he's a very talented student, obviously. To see the accolades and Miss Norman speak about that, it is a shame that we didn't get to hear him perform. That would have been pretty cool. Maybe we should set that up next time something like that happens. And Glenver Elementary School is awesome. Every time I walk in the building, everybody's happy. The presentation that she showed, that's reality. Like, I don't give them notice that I'm coming. I just show up. I know everybody, so it's just easy for me just to show up and say, hey, how's it going? And the kids are just falling in the floor, like she mentioned. She has like a joke of the day, and all the kids are asking what the joke of the day is. And she's very interactive with the kids. The staff obviously show up without her knowing. I mean, that just says something. And like Mr. Linden said, there is a reason why they call it Highlander Heaven. It's a very special place. I'm kind of jealous because I went to Salem. Nothing against Salem, but I really feel like I missed out by not being a Glenver kid. But that's all I have.
Thank you. I don't want to belabor this point. I think you've made a lot of the points. We did have the opportunity to meet yesterday. We met with Laurie Gearhart, who's the CFO. She took time to go over this information. There have been a lot of questions about the revenue sharing, the formula that they use to calculate it. As you mentioned, it's been in place since 2014, so it's a pretty significant amount of time. We definitely benefit from having that agreement in place. It provides us some stability. It gives us the opportunity to plan ahead and kind of have an idea of what's coming. So we definitely appreciate that. We definitely want to keep that in place. I do feel like, as Mr. Hudson mentioned, the meeting went really well. I feel like they took many opportunities to tell us what a wonderful job they think that we do, and that our school system does. It doesn't go unnoticed, what a great school system we have, and they know that that's an asset to our county. So I do hope that we can move in that direction. I think yesterday was moving in that direction. I hope we can continue to do that. I think we all benefit if we can come together. We have a lot of things that we're working on right now that are shared goals between the two boards, and we can really benefit from their assistance on those things. To Mr. Greenway's point, I do think joint meetings are appropriate and needed, and so hopefully we can get to that point where we can have some of those meetings. I think it would be necessary. So that's all I'm going to say on that. We do appreciate them.
Madam Chair, real quick, one thing. I do want to make sure that we understand. I do agree with the revenue sharing agreement that Joe McNamara and Drew Barano wrote up. Well, actually, I think it wasn't it 2004. Does it go back to 2000?
It says 14 on the memorandum.
Well, it's phenomenal. And so, we don't want to.
Right.
It's necessary. We don't want to change that. Absolutely. Right, it's unique to the state of Virginia. Only a couple of counties have it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and we're fortunate that we have that in place. So yeah, we definitely want to keep that in place. So yeah, I hope we can work in that direction. I think we can. I think it's possible to do that, and we do appreciate their efforts yesterday, and hopefully we'll continue in that path. Talk about just some things that are going on. Yesterday I had the opportunity to visit the governor's school, and this is their intersession. So this is the time where they spend all of their time working on their projects. That's all they're doing. And it's pretty amazing. I had 2 Cave Spring Governor School students come meet me at the door, and they were my tour guide for the day. And we went around and we went to all the different classrooms and saw the different projects. And these kids are incredible. Their projects are beyond anything that I can understand. And they're really doing things that are real world applications. There was one student that was working on colon cancer cells. There was another student that was looking at sensory movements and bionic arms. And then there was the all-important cell phone charging use of the shoe. There was a mechanism they had made to go to the shoe, and when you walk, it charges your phone. So all the important things. I mean, But anyways, it's really awesome. Their projects are pretty amazing. So I love going over there during the intersession when they're actually working on them and they're in there looking at their data. They're so happy to share with you what they're doing. So it's really an awesome experience. Let's see, tomorrow we have the CTE General Advisory Committee. Mr. Greenway and I both serve on that committee, so we always look forward to hearing what updates there are on career and technology, so look forward to that. We do hope that everyone has had a great start to the second semester, and we hope that you enjoy the snow or deal with it however you want to look at it. And lastly, I do want to also welcome Dr. White. It's been fun getting to know you. We've had some opportunities to meet and talk about some things. He's had the opportunity to jump right in, which is usually what happens when you come on. We just throw you in there, and he's been a good sport about that. So I look forward to working with you, and I'm glad to have you. So thank you. And if there is nothing else, meeting adjourned.